Hi everyone and welcome to today's video. Today we are going to be testing out a few new products from Charlotte Tilbury. Well, a couple are new, one is not. The ones that I'm talking about that are new are her Airbrush Flawless Foundation and her color corrector, her new Magic Vanish color corrector. The one that is not, that I decided to add on to the mix for today's review, is her Magic Away Liquid Concealer. I've had a few of you request for me to do this particular concealer review in the past, and since she just launched a color corrector, I figured what better time than now to test them together, see how they work. So we're going to start off with some quick details for each individual product. This is the foundation. It retails for $44 US and it comes in 44 different shades. I grabbed the shade Neutral to try out today, which is number 6. It has a shelf life of 12 months and you get your typical 1 fluid ounce, is that right? Yes, so you get your 1 fluid ounce worth of product. It comes in a glass bottle, frosted. I really like it. Very sturdy, very luxury, and it has a pump, so looks good all around. As for the details for this foundation, this is supposed to be a full coverage foundation with some skincare benefits, which is great. I love that brands are starting to do that a lot more now. They seem to be infusing better ingredients into their foundations so that way you're not only wearing makeup, but you're also, it's also benefiting the skin by wearing it. So kind of like a 2-in-1. I'm not mad about it. I love that fact. Now this foundation has a lot of claims, so I'm going to try to summarize everything. It's supposed to include the groundbreaking Magic Replexium, which reduces the appearance of wrinkles by up to 22% after 8 weeks of wearing it. It is also going to keep your skin nice and moisturized for up to 24 hours. It is going to reduce the look of pores by up to 95%. It is meant to feel lightweight and comfortable. It also includes Air Cool, which I'm not 100% on what that is, but that is supposed to give you an instant fresh feel on the skin. And it has a unique CT defense that is designed to limit exposure of the skin to everyday pollutants. It is sweat proof, humidity proof, waterproof, and transfer resistant. As far as how to apply it, it really only states that you should start at the center of the face and then work your way out, and that a little goes a long way. So I'm going to try not to use too much of this. Now moving on to the color corrector. The Magic Vanish color corrector retails for $32 US. You get your choice of 4 different shades. I grabbed the shade Medium for today. It comes in this cute little compact. Like, how cute is that? That is what it looks like. It reminds me a lot of my Becca Corrector shade, which this one is in the shade Medium to Deep. That is why I decided on this one. Pretty similar, right? Kind of. As far as how to apply it, she does recommend that you use your ring finger when applying the product or the corrector onto the under eye area. That's how I apply my Becca Under Eye Brightening Corrector anyway, so that is what I will be doing for today. Next, we have the Magic Away Concealer. This retails for $32 US and it can be found in 20 different shades. I grabbed the shade 5 for today's video. You get 0.13 fluid ounces worth of product. It has a shelf life of 12 months. And the applicator, I'm not a huge fan of, but whatever, I'll go with it. It's this little sponge applicator. It reminds me, it's just like the Maybelline, Maybelline concealer. The Age Rewind. The Age Rewind. That is what it looks like. So you're supposed to twist it, and then the product comes out of the top. So as far as what it's going to do, it is going to help smooth and make the under eye appear a lot more refreshed. It is going to help reduce the appearance of fine lines and wrinkles, and it is also going to enhance the skin's luminosity. So it's going to look really nice and luminous and smooth underneath the eyes, or at least that's the idea. That's what we're going for. It's going to cover up dark circles, blemishes, and imperfections. So the Magic Cushion Applicator, which is what the little sponge is called inside, it is designed to roll over imperfections and hug the under eye contour for the most flawless application of your life. So it is quite squishy, so it is meant to really, just get in there. It's not stiff, so it's going to be really gentle underneath the eyes, but we'll see. I'm still not a fan of those applicators. I don't know, just don't like them. As far as how to apply it, the website does recommend that you apply your foundation before your concealer. That way, if you do need a little extra coverage anywhere along the skin, you can just like dab, dab, dab a little bit of concealer and then you're good to go. Once you have blended your foundation, you can apply your concealer to your blemishes, redness, and areas that need more coverage. Like I said, for brighter looking eyes, use a lighter shade to apply to under eye circles and tap with your ring finger to blend. It does recommend this, but I'm not a huge fan of blending concealers out with my finger. I just feel like I leave a bunch of like finger stamp marks. So I don't think I'm going to do that. I think I'm just going to blend it out using my Real Techniques brush, my trusty Real Techniques brush, like I do most of my concealers now. If I do need to set the under eye area, guys, I think I might ditch my RCMA No Color Loose Powder. I know. I don't know what's going on, but I swear the Pat McGrath, it works so well underneath the eyes. Looks so good. This has been my go-to for setting the under eye area. So if I need to set it, I'll set it with my Pat McGrath Labs setting powder. I hate that I love it so much because it is so expensive, but I really like it. It's a really good powder. So if I do need to set it, I will set it with this powder. Otherwise, I'm just going to leave it alone. We'll see what it looks like though. So, okay, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to start off with, of course, the color corrector. Just going to grab it with my finger. Feels pretty creamy. I like that. It does remind me of my Becca Under Eye Brightening Corrector, just the way that it feels here. We'll see. Gonna apply it under the eyes. All right, would you look at that? Under eye darkness be gone. It doesn't look heavy either. It looks really light underneath the eyes. Love that. And it's doing a really good job at like canceling out my dark circles. I mean, just like look at that. Okay, so under eyes are corrected. Now we can move on to the foundation. I'm going to start off with just one pump of foundation. Since it does state that a little goes a long way, I think I'm going to try to stick with only that right there. Okay, so I'm going to start right here and then work my way out. All right, so I think I could have gone maybe a shade deeper, but winter's coming up, you know, so I don't think that I'm going to necessarily need a deeper shade for the rest of the year. So I'm okay with the way that this looks right now. It's not too incredibly light, like too off. I think I can definitely make it work. Okay, so full coverage for sure with this foundation, absolutely. And I only used about half of what I pumped onto the back of my hand. I think that if I would have used a brush, I could have gone even lighter. Since sponges do tend to absorb a little bit of the product, you are losing a little bit of the product in the sponge. I really like the finish with the sponge, so that's why I did it. That's why I used it. But if I needed to use a brush, or if I wanted to use a brush, I feel like I would have gotten the same amount of coverage with even less product. So I really like it. Let me zoom you all in so that you can get a better look at the before and after. Okay, so this is my skin before anything goes on it. And this is my skin with the one layer of foundation. As you can see, like everything is covered. This truly is full coverage. I don't see any of my imperfections showing through at all. All right, so let's finish the rest of the face so that I can move on to concealer. That's the part that I'm really excited about. Concealer, yes. All right, so there it is. I really love the coverage that this is providing me with. Holy cow. And I only used the one pump for the entire face. I think I could have used, like I said, even a little bit less, but I used one pump. It does have a natural matte finish, which I don't think I mentioned that at the beginning when I was giving you all the details. I think I forgot to mention that, but it is supposed to leave you with a natural matte finish. It does dry down pretty quickly. I haven't had it on for that long and I can already feel that it is getting matte. And I was starting to see, I wish I would have just kept it on my skin, but I was starting to see the outside of where I had pumped where I had pumped the foundation on the back of my hand. I was starting to see it kind of dry down pretty quickly. So, I mean, you don't have to rush through the foundation application, but you do have to work a little bit quickly because you don't have a whole lot of playtime, if you will. So that, it was fine. It blended out beautifully. I love the way that this looks. As far as the pores, like minimizing the pores, I'm not really sure if it's doing that or not, just simply because I don't really pay attention to my pores. That's not a part of my face that I really am concerned about. So I don't know. I mean, it looks good. It looks good. It feels good. It feels lightweight for it being a full coverage foundation. Like this type of coverage, depending on the foundation that you are using, can feel a little heavy. But since I use so little, it doesn't feel heavy at all. And it looks beautiful on the skin. So that's the foundation. I really like the way that it applied, and I really like the way that it looks right now. Let's move on to the concealer now, shall we? So I'm going to try to keep it light with the concealer. The one thing about these is that it does take a while to see the product finally coming through the top. And I don't want to overdo it because if you crank it too much, then you have a ton of product just like pouring out of the top. It's going to take a little while. Come on. It's finally kind of trying to come out a little. I don't want to overdo it, but it's not going out. All right, I feel like we finally have some product coming out, but it's not like even. Okay, so now that I finally have some product in this sponge, I'm going to apply it onto the under eye. Okay, so the applicator is awful. I don't know what I'm doing with that, so I'm just gonna set it down for now. And I'm gonna move on to blending it out just very lightly with my brush. I tried not to apply too much product, but the applicator makes it really tricky to where you can't really control how much it's coming, like how much is coming out. Okay, so it is starting to settle into my fine lines just a little bit. So I think I might set it very, very lightly with my setting powder. So I'm just going to grab a little bit of the setting powder with my damp sponge here, my damp makeup sponge. And I'm going to set the under eye area with that. Okay, that looks so much better. Okay, so this is what it looks like. Initial thoughts, I like it. And I do feel like it's providing me with quite a bit of coverage. It looks really good underneath the eyes. So now I'm going to zoom y'all in so that you can get a better look at the under eye area after initial application. All right, so this is the under eye area and initial thoughts. I actually really like it. I like the way that it looks, and I like the amount of coverage that this is providing. All right, so now that you've gotten a better look at the foundation on my skin and the concealer and the corrector underneath the eyes, I'm going to jump off camera really quickly, finish off the rest of my makeup, and I will be right back. Okay, so now I am back, makeup is done, and I really love everything that's on my face right now. I really like the way that this looks right now. I don't know, maybe I'm having a good makeup day, but the foundation looks great. The concealer looks great. It doesn't look overly done. It doesn't look heavy. It's concealing the under eye area pretty darn well. The foundation feels really lightweight, even though it is a full coverage foundation. You don't feel like it is. And even though it does provide you with a natural matte finish, it doesn't feel drying. It doesn't feel heavy. It doesn't feel cakey. It feels very lightweight and comfortable, and it is giving me full coverage. So yes, it would be amazing if this continues to wear like this the entire day. If my makeup looks this good all day long, oh, I would love it. but we'll see. We'll see where we're at come midday. I do plan on coming back halfway through the day in order to show you all some close-ups, talk to you all a little bit about how everything has been wearing up to that point, but that is in a few hours. It is currently 10:48 in the morning, so I am going to give this about a little bit, like 4-5 hours worth of wear time before I come back, do a midday check-in, and let you all see and know what it looks like come that time. So I will see you all back here in a few hours for my midday check-in. Okay, so now I am back from my midday check-in. It is currently 3:34. So I've had this on my face now for almost a good 5 hours. Before I get into what I think about the product so far, I'm going to zoom you all in so that you can get a better look at the foundation and at the under eye area after about 5 hours of wear. All right, so here is the under eye area. So far, so good. I feel like it's still doing a really good job at concealing the under eye area. Now this is the left side of my face. Nothing has worn off. Everything is still in place. Everything still looks beautiful on the skin. And of course, same goes for this side. The forehead still looks pretty matte, so not a whole lot to report there. You can see a couple of my blemishes there, but other than that, not bad. And around the mouth, I don't feel like this is accentuating my fine lines or my smile lines here. And the product is also not settling into my smile lines. So there you have it. That is the current situation on the face. I still really like the foundation and I feel like it is keeping me comfortably matte. I forgot to mention at the beginning of the video, but my skin type is pretty oily here along the T-zone. I get pretty oily there pretty much every single day that I'm not wearing any kind of a mattifying anything. So pretty oily here and normal everywhere else. So I mainly was looking here along the T-zone to see whether or not it's turned a little shiny thus far, and it doesn't seem to be. It's really comfortable still. The foundation's still really lightweight and providing me with full coverage, very comfortable full coverage. It also has not cracked. I haven't seen the foundation crack anywhere. Sometimes drier foundations, like really matte foundations, can do that on me, especially here along the smile lines. This one I didn't see anything. It's like a very flexible matte foundation. I find it so far. It's a very flexible matte foundation. That's kind of what I'm gathering. And overall, I'm still really happy with the way that all three products are working on my skin right now. So, but we shall see how the day ends. Sometimes, it's really good, for the first half of the day, and then the second half of the day, everything just kind of starts to break down. So hopefully that's not the case, but we'll see what it looks like at the end of the day. I do plan on continuing to wear these products for about another 4 or 5 hours to give it a full day's worth of wear and see what we're left with at the end of the night. So I will see you all back here at the end of the day for my final thoughts on these Charlotte Tilbury products. Okay, so now I am back from my final check-in. It is currently 8:21. So I've had this foundation along with the concealer and the corrector on now for about 9.5 hours, almost 10 hours now. Now, before I jump into my overall opinion of everything that I've worn that is new today, I'm going to zoom you all in one last time so that you can get a better look at the under eye area and also at my skin with the foundation after almost 10 hours of wear. Okay, so now that we're almost at the 10-hour mark, the under eye area is starting to look it. It definitely looks worn by now. I've lost some coverage, I feel, on both sides pretty much. Lost a little bit of coverage. And yeah, at this point, I can't wait to wash it off. Now, as for the foundation, it still looks gorgeous on the skin. I still really like it. It still looks really nice. It's intact. Nothing has worn off or moved around on me. And the same goes for this right side. As far as the forehead though, I can say that this has not kept me completely matte. I can see a little bit of oiliness peeking through, but I didn't set this foundation, so perhaps that can be taken care of with a little bit of powder or setting it at the beginning of the day. I think that would absolutely help from it looking a little bit oily. And last but not least, my smile lines. The foundation didn't settle and it didn't really separate there. I can kind of see like my pores like peeking through right here and right here, like on the sides of my nose. That's like the only thing that I really, really noticed. But other than that, I'm good. All right, so let's go over all the products that I tested out today, and I'll give you my opinion on everything. Let's start off with the corrector, shall we? I love the packaging of this thing. It's just so darn cute. I really liked the corrector because it was very, very lightweight. It was like a cream, but like a very light cream, if you will. I don't know, it was a little waxy, but not, it's hard to describe, but it's not like my Becca corrector at all. That one is a little bit more tacky, a little bit heavier. This one was very, very light. It's very soft. Once you apply it onto the skin, you don't even really feel like you have anything at all. So I really enjoyed that, and it looks really nice under the eyes. It also does a really good job at canceling out your dark circles. So I am going to continue to test this and use it with other concealers to see if I like the way that it wears with other concealers better than with its own. Now let's move on to the concealer. I liked it at first. When I first applied it and during the first half of the day, I really loved the way that this looked. It looked very light. It looked natural. It looked really, really good under the eyes. At least it did to me. However, during the second half of the day, that's when I started noticing that I was losing a little bit of coverage and it was starting to just look a little worn, a little more worn than what I had been wearing it for. So second half of the day, I wasn't such a huge fan. First half of the day though, I was a really big fan. So next time I have something like casual going on for only like 2 or 3 hours, yeah, I'll reach for this one. But if I'm looking for an all-day wear concealer, then this is probably not going to be it for me, just because it didn't keep me completely concealed and looking smooth or smoother under the eyes the entire day. So for that reason, it's just not in my top 10. And also because of the packaging, I absolutely can say without a doubt I hate the packaging. This is the worst packaging ever. I have the same issue or similar issue with the Maybelline Age Rewind, but that one I don't mind so much just because it's not as expensive. But this is a $32 concealer, and I've already used quite a bit of it just trying to get it out of the tube, and most of it just seems to have stayed stuck in the sponge. I don't like it. I don't like that. I feel like it's too expensive of a concealer to have such crappy packaging. I don't know. I don't like the packaging. And now at the end of the day, I'm not a big fan of the concealer either. So it's a no. It's a no for me on this one. Now let's talk about the foundation. The foundation is an absolute yes from me. I really enjoyed wearing this all day long. It really truly does wear super lightweight on the skin. You don't feel like you have a full coverage foundation on at all. A little does go a long way. I only used one pump for the entire face and I still had a little bit left over. So I think next time, like I said at the beginning of the day, I'm going to use a brush, like a dense brush, such as this one that I have from Luxie. This one is the Airbrush foundation. It's the 732, or this one from Sigma. This one is the Flat Kabuki, the F80. These would spread the product around so evenly, and they don't, since they are so dense, they don't absorb a lot of the foundation. So I feel like you can use even less with either one of those brushes or with just a big dense brush. So I think that's what I'm going to apply this foundation with next time that I wear it, because a little does go a long way. You get full coverage, like true full coverage on the skin. It looks beautiful. It glides on. It blends out super evenly. Just beautiful. I love it. Although it didn't keep me completely matte the entire day, it does have a natural matte finish. Didn't keep me completely matte. I feel like next time I will just set it with a powder along the T-zone, and that should take care of that if I truly want to stay completely matte the entire day. Now, it didn't keep me completely matte, but it's not a foundation that broke up on me or made me excessively oily or anything like that. It didn't settle into any of my fine lines, and it didn't separate. It didn't wear off. It's a beautiful foundation. The only downside that I can see with this foundation is that it does dry down rather quickly. So you cannot apply it, little dots to the entire face and then take your time working on each section. I would recommend doing half and half like I did today. I did it just for the sole purpose of showing you all before and after, but I'm glad that I did it that way because it does dry down pretty darn fast. So if you are working with this one, or if you're planning on working with this foundation, just keep that in mind. And then that way you won't be caught off guard when it starts to dry down on you really quickly and you're not done blending. So there's just that to consider. Other than that, I really loved it. I love wearing this foundation and I will continue to reach for this one. Absolutely. This one, the Corrector, I will play with. I will continue to use it with other concealers, but the concealer, this one, magic away, magic away. So that completes today's video. Thank you all so much for watching. I truly hope that you enjoyed today's product review and that you found it helpful. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss out on future videos. And also don't forget to follow me on Instagram, where I absolutely love to interact with you all. As always, take care and I will see you all in my next video. Mwah! Bye.